Hi, it's Hans at happierman.com. Today's topic is make happiness your priority. Well, the title of my website is ahappierman.com, and I have a very nice website, I think. It's got lots and lots of articles, lots and lots of encouragement for you, lots of things I did to go from a very frustrated, unhappy man to just incredible amounts of happiness. So I think I have a lot to offer to you as a man who's not happy, and how you might go about to make yourself not to be much happier than you are. If you're already happy, well, you don't have to bother listening to me. But to me, when I look around, there are quite a few guys that just, you got yourself into some circumstances that just are making you miserable, that you have a lot of frustrations, that life isn't just going the way you want it to go. You've got, everything is just not how you want it. And that was basically my life. And at some point I decided to make happiness my priority and to get my life going the way I wanted it to go. And I set about doing that, and and some of the things I had to do to get to this point were like extreme amounts of changes in how I thought and extreme amounts of action. For example, I have my book available on ahappierman.com. And the title of the book is Leave Your Wife and Become a Happier Man with a three-step system. That's prominent on the website, so you can't miss it if you go there. You can learn about the book there. But basically, that's my story of how I was in this marriage, right, and married for many years, and had a couple kids, and I was the breadwinner, and we had the big house in the suburbs, and everything should have been fine, right? Should have been fine. I'm a professional engineer, making a pretty good income, working at a high capacity, and everything should have been fine. But it wasn't. It wasn't fine at all. And for various reasons, I had to leave her, and I did. And I outlined the reasons in the book. And I have an article explaining what the book is about that you should kind of look at and see if any of these things apply to you. But I couldn't be happy staying with her. My life was just so miserable and frustrating and irritating and bad. I was a henpecked, belittled, ridiculed, verbally abused guy. And without I had no control over any real element of my life. Everything was kind of wrong. And then so when that happens to you, you have to, what I did was I just completely changed how I thought about things, and I took massive action to leave my wife, and there's been massive action and aftermath to keep moving forward, right? So if you, in the simple terms, if you make happiness your priority, and you don't quit, and you persevere, and you do whatever it takes for you to be a happier man, you will get it if you're willing to do whatever it takes, and you keep working on the doing it. And this requires you to focus on your happiness and to stop thinking about things that make you unhappy, to think about things that make you happy. And if you can't just do that because there's some circumstance you're in, like a bad job or a bad marriage, or you're living in the wrong place, or you've got all kinds of debts, if you can't pay your bills, if things are really wrong in your life, you got bad habits that ruin your life, or whatever, or the people you're around you just don't like. See, all of this stuff it will take a lot of action to undo these big problems and to do something that's more happiness inducing. But you won't do them without changing your mind to say, I'm going to be happier and I'm going to do whatever it takes to be a happier man. So I would argue that making happiness your number one goal and to live in a life that you just absolutely love and you look forward to each day and you don't suffer and stagnate and be frustrated all the time, your life can go right through the roof into happiness that you can't even believe. I can't even believe that I'm here today. This is early 2021. I'm already making progress on the goals I had set for 2021, already ticking a few off, and there's no reason for me to think things aren't going to keep going better, even though 2020, as we all know, is kind of a weird year, a bad year, a difficult year. Well, the year is come and gone. This year, it's going to be good, and I would say that the most of the things that are wrong in your life are more internal, right? It isn't so much the COVID that is making you miserable. It's that you can't, if you're living in it with a bad wife who's just giving you a hard time all the time, if you're living with her in the COVID situation and you never escape to go to work, well, your life is just going to be a pure living hell, right? If you can't stay in your job, you don't enjoy it at all, and now instead of just going there and coming back at the end of the day, your darn computer is sitting on your dining room table beeping at you all the time and you feel like you got to be on it all the time, well, how are you gonna consider that a good life, right? So if you would, if this sounds like an issue for you, go to my website at happierman.com, start poking around. There's, I don't know, hundreds of articles there, and you got tons of other videos on these related subjects available on the YouTube under my name, Hans Hollinger, and give that a look. I would say, I'm at the point where all the things that I do, whatever I'm listing for 2021, is things to make my life better, and it will make me happier. It'll make me happier when I accomplish these things, because there's still these little frustrations and issues and problems, and then there's also these things that aren't frustrations, but man, I really want to do it. I really want to do that. And if you don't have anything, man, I really want to do, well, that's a big problem too, right? So if I look at my list and I say, well, I want to take 2 significant trips this year, plus 3 weekend trips, 5 trips in a year, wow. I know if I do that, I'm going to have one heck of a memorable, fantastic traveling year. And if I know I get anywhere close to that, I'll have a great time, because that's what I love. I love to do those types of things. So in addition to my things that are frustrations that I want to get past, there's also the things, man, I really want to do. And that's the happiness-inducing stuff you want to put on your list and you want to focus on. And certainly, if you're something really bad, like a bad marriage or a bad job, you have to stop doing those things. That's where the real magic happens, is when you quit doing something that isn't good for you and you start. Then you have the time and the energy and the mental clarity to, man, now I got a life. I tell you, when I left my wife back in 2007, it was an absolutely horrible day. Absolutely horrible. One of the awfulest memories that just, still a nightmare day. But it allowed me to get to this point where things are just so good and I'm so happy, and this kind of life can be yours too. So give that idea some thought, all for now.